Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last session of the conference today. I would like to remind you to take part in the game. I have heard from my colleagues that we don't have a winner yet. So if you want to win a nice prize, put the phrase together from the letters that you received and send them to the email address cora@athenecom.eu. And now we will have a panel that we will start with the intervention from the Joint Secretariat. Anna and Femke will share with us their future activities in the North Sea Region program. So I would like to invite onto the stage Anna and Femke.
Thank you, Darius. I hope you can hear and see Femke and myself. I have the presentation open in my slide on my screen, so I can't really see who's there, but welcome also from Femke's and my side. We're really, really looking forward to the next 45 minutes, or next hour actually, and to present the new program for now. In case you haven't met Femke or myself, as Darius already said, we are from the Joint Secretariat of the North Sea Region program, and we're both project advisors in the program. Femke is also working on communication. In the next 10 minutes, or maybe rather 12 minutes, we'll give you a quick overview of the new program that's going to start being implemented from the autumn on this year, roughly. And then we will more in-depth elaborate on how we see the role of the digital transformation in upcoming North Sea Region projects. Very briefly, this is going to be the structure of the new program. We will have 4 priorities: robust and smart economies, a green transition, climate resilience, and a better governance. Across those 4 priorities, we will have 8 specific objectives under which projects can apply. And on top of that, as you can see on the bottom, we have identified 3 spotlight themes, as we call them. These are digitalization, rural-urban linkages, and strengths and challenges in the North Sea basin. And these go across all 4 priorities, so we really consider them relevant in all priorities. There is no need for projects to address them, but applications are very welcome and encouraged. Now, what role does digitalization and the digital transformation of the region play in the new program? The major starting point for us when we drafted the new program was, of course, the Europe Fit for the Digital Age and the Shaping Europe's Digital Future strategy. And it was key for us to highlight the importance that the growing role of digital technologies and smart technologies can play for the economies, the societies, and for democracy in the region, but also for Europe on a broader level. And at the same time, we also see it key to support digitalization as an enabler for the green transition of the region in line with the European Green Deal. And against that background, we identified, as I already said, digitalization as a spotlight theme. Now, what does that actually mean? In line with what I just said, the new program is going to support the region's digital transition and the development of smart cities and regions. And the target group hereby is both people, citizens, businesses, and public authorities. Where are we going to do that? We're going to do that throughout the program's 4 priorities, because we see that digital solutions are a way to address the challenges identified in all of them. So it's not only 1 or 2 priorities that we see that is highly relevant. And how are we going to do that? The new program will support the development, improvement, and the uptake of digital smart solutions. It will foster digital skills, and it will also support digital connectivity, also as a way to help to reduce the rural-urban gap, or gaps, which still persist in the North Sea Region area. This is the overarching idea of the spotlight theme, but how will that actually look like in practice? In the next couple of minutes, Femke and I will briefly go through the 4 priorities and explain what they are about, and then give examples for how digitalization could be addressed in them. And I want you to be aware that what Femke and I are going to present you now is going to be based on the current text of the draft cooperation program, and that is still subject, or it's likely that it's subject to some further changes. The Commission will have to approve the cooperation program, and national consultations with the political delegations of our 7 member states are still outstanding. So take what we're saying with a grain of salt. It's highly likely that there are going to be further changes. All right. Priority 1 is robust and smart economies in the North Sea region. The overall goal of this priority is to foster sustainable economic development of the region, to support regional actors, both in the public and in the private sector, to develop resilience, and to protect regional economies and societies from potential shocks and crises. And this can be done by maintaining and strengthening regional innovation capacity and by delivering on innovation, but also by future-proofing economic structures and economic actors in the region, for example, through skill development. And projects can apply under the 2 specific objectives mentioned on the slide. Now, when it comes to the role of the digital transformation, digitalization, examples of actions, and that's of course not exhaustive, those are just examples, might be to support SMEs to gain access to digital know-how and technology by providing them with an incentive to connect with ICT knowledge and ICT service providers. Or also, that's another example of an action, might be to improve digital skills in the tourism and the cultural heritage sectors to prepare them for the upcoming or ongoing digital transition in the region. That's it about priority 1. Moving on now to priority 2, which is a green transition in the North Sea region. The overall goal of priority 2 is going to be to support sustainable development in the region while reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. So the aim is essentially to reduce the region's environmental footprint through the development of green energy and alternative fuels, through investments in circular economy, and through sustainable transport. And this will be achieved in 3 specific objectives that you can also see on the slide now. And also in this priority, we consider digitalization highly relevant. For example, by developing and improving digital solutions that can contribute to the improvement of forecasting and asset optimization, through the integration of smart and digital carbon and climate neutral solutions across all relevant sectors. But we could also imagine projects that utilize open data access to encourage the development and accessibility of spare parts as part of the circular economy. Or projects that aim to enhance sustainable mobility services in urban areas and in their surroundings by developing and testing innovative IoT solutions, for example, the Internet of Things. Those are a couple of examples from priority 1 and 2, how we could imagine digitalization to be incorporated in new projects. And Femke will now go on to present priority 3 and 4 and give a short outlook about the upcoming next steps for the program.
Thank you, Anne. I'll give a sneak preview in priority 3. The objective of priority 3 is to preserve the natural environment of the North Sea region, and also projects that protect it from negative impact of climate change. Projects under this priority will, for example, enhance biodiversity or contribute to climate change adaptation. These objectives are reflected in 2 specific objectives. The first one, promoting climate change adaptation, risk prevention, and disaster resilience. And the second one is on enhancing biodiversity, green infrastructure in the urban environment, and reducing pollution. If we then look at how specifically digitalization and digital transformation fits in this priority, you can, for example, think about actions, projects that relate to predicting climate change impacts and its effects, measuring, monitoring, for example, groundwater, surface water, deploying technologies for environmental monitoring that could fit in with the theme of this seminar today. If we look at priority 4, which is the better governance priority. This is about setting up and developing multi-level governance structures to address the challenges in the North Sea region. This can involve organizations from a national authority all the way down to grassroots level that can work together to help improve transnational cooperation efforts. It can focus on the topics that have been discussed now before, the 1, 2, and 3, but also preliminary focus on the North Sea Basin, integrated territorial development, and urban-rural cooperation. And if we look at specific actions that fit in this priority that are linked to digitalization, you can, for example, think about bringing together governance actors to address regulation-free spaces where there is no regulation or not adequate regulation. You can think about in the field of drones, robots, data-driven innovation, so strategies or standards that can be developed in there could fit in this priority, as an example. Another one would, for example, be the building of platforms for governance actors to harmonize technological standards or certification for digital infrastructure and equipment. So you can see that the spotlight team of digitalization can come back in the different priorities. If we then take a look at where we are at the moment in the program, as Anna also said, that this is all a draft program. It can all change. The program is now with the European Commission and will come back to us and the member states, and the changes can then be implemented. And then after that, the program will be launched and the first call will be opened. If you would like to learn more and have more of a sneak preview in what is currently in the draft program, there will be an event at the end of this month or the beginning of next month that will be published in the next few days on our website, where you can register and hear more about the priorities and the specific objectives, and potentially also already network with like-minded organizations that are interested in these subjects. And then there is also the North Sea Conference to look out for in November, where we will both focus on the current program and what the projects are doing, and how the next program is developing. So that is our sneak preview of the program related to digitalization. And we are happy to answer questions if that fits in the time. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And I will now stop sharing my screen.
Thank you very much for your intervention and for the peak preview of the program. And then Femke, I have some questions to you, of course. So we have a question from Payman. Will the projects related to the digitalization of public sector and public services be eligible? Or is the focus of the priority 1 solely on smart economy and economic-related issues?
No, we have quite a broad focus as of right now when it comes to priority 1. So we're going to target both the private sector, but also public sector innovation, and as well social innovation, which can of course be done both by public and private sector actors in priority 1. So we see scope to address the digital transformation also in the public sector under priority 1 in the new program. But again, take it with a grain of salt as of right now.
Thank you very much. Femke, I have a question to you. When would you recommend to start preparations for the future projects?
That's a good question. It is great to already start meeting and also taking into consideration new areas that will be included in the program. So if you have the chance, please start networking and getting an idea of projects now. It will move very fast after the summer.
Yeah.
I know that it's difficult when we are not set on what the program will look like, but we will definitely encourage to start thinking about projects.
And you're, of course, welcome to reach out to us in doing that.
Yes.
Anna, a question for you. So we know that building a partnership is a tricky thing for the project. So from your perspective, what should a project manager pay attention when selecting partners?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Maybe I should give that back to Payman and Ike. I think it's highly relevant to pick the right actors and the right actors that provide the competences that you need, and to think about in the long-term uptake also of what you're developing. So not only the development of the project, but also really the impact of the project. Who are the right actors to ensure that the solutions developed will actually be implemented and sustainably implemented in that way? We just published, and Femke, you can join me here, we just published a short article on how partnerships have been formed so far in the program. And there were also some findings on what project managers would do differently if they had to form a partnership again. But Femke, maybe you have some more insights into exactly.
Yeah, so we asked projects of the current program how they formed their partnership and how it was going. And I think the main takeaway of that was that it is so important to choose your partners right and take time to do that. And that's why we're also saying start as early as you can. And one other aspect that turned out to be really important is to also focus on the social aspects of it, which I know is hard now because you can't meet. But to really take time to get to know each other and to find out what the role of those partners is within the project. Projects came back with that advice to take enough time to get to know each other properly before starting the project.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your intervention and for answers to the questions. So now we know in which direction the North Sea Region program is going. We know now is the time to start preparations for the future projects, because once things are approved by the Commission, things will start to roll very quickly.
Yeah.
And be careful when selecting your partners and take time. So thanks a lot, Anna and Femke. It was great to have you here. And good luck with the new program. We will be in touch.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.